Welcome to Look Behind the Look, the podcast that examines iconic looks in film, television, music, and fashion history. I'd like to share a very special message from our premier sponsor, Presentation Folder. Whether you're an indie beauty brand, entrepreneur, or pro artist, printed products and packaging are one of the most common facets of branding and recognition. Presentation Folder is a print industry leader committed to innovation, design, sustainability, and most importantly, their customers. They work to ensure every project stands out and deliver the very best service to you, on time and at a price that's fair to everyone. You can now customize any product or packaging to fit your needs. Everything from cosmetic and skincare packaging to posters, event materials, business cards, and more. Our listeners can save 10% on their next order. Visit presentationfolder.com and use promo code LOOKBEHINDTHELOOK. Hi, everybody. I am Tiffany Bartok, and I am so excited to invite Tricia Sawyer to this premiere episode of Look Behind the Look. Tricia's accomplishments are seemingly limitless. She has worked extensively in the motion picture industry, and she was a personal artist to Sharon Stone, Lindsay Lohan, Brittany Murphy, Gina Gershon, Scarlett Johansson, Robin Wright, so many more. Her Emmy nomination was for her fantastic work on everybody's favorite series, Mad Men. After graduating from the Joe Blasco Makeup School in Los Angeles, she joined the union, heading for the film world, and she's now the department head for major motion pictures. She works on Marvel films, and she works on the beloved series, House of Cards. Her first feature was Where Sleeping Dogs Lie. She was the department head, and that is where she met Sharon Stone. She'd go on to do 19 more films with Sharon, and the one we are going to talk about today is Casino. Casino was released in 1995. It was set in Vegas and encompassed about 16 years of different looks. It was directed by Martin Scorsese. It stars Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, James Woods, and of course, Sharon Stone, who was nominated for her performance. Thank you again, Tricia.
Oh my gosh,
Very
my
excited.
pleasure. Thanks for having me.
A little backstory. I was thinking about Casino and iconic looks in makeup, and then I posted an image of Sharon that I loved and grew up with, and you responded that you would love to talk about it, and here we are, and we're going to start doing this now, which I'm really excited about. So how did you find yourself? Well, let's go way back. How did you find yourself in the industry and wanting to do movies at all?
It's kind of by luck and chance, really, because nobody in my family was in the industry. I didn't, it wasn't nepotism by any means. I grew up in Pasadena, so I was in the Los Angeles area, but LA was a far off land. Nobody I knew was over there. So a girlfriend, I loved art, and I wanted to go to art school. And I didn't get a lot of enthusiasm from my family about that. They wanted me to get a real job.
Right.
But that was always something that I really loved, and I didn't really know how to make my two worlds mend, and I only knew makeup was working behind a counter. That was my only experience with it, so I grew up watching so many movies with my mom, and loved black and white movies, and all of that. And I always knew I wanted to go into movies if I did do something like that. But anyway, one of my best girlfriends in high school, her sister went through Joe Blasco's, and she invited me to come down and see it. And I walked in and I went, wow, I had no idea I could do this as a career. And then I just was determined to do it. And I just kept going after that.
Amazing. Yeah, that's fantastic. I think the combination of art and makeup artistry, that makes for a very long career, which you've had. And then, so how did you find yourself on your first set?
Let's see. When I first got out of makeup school, I started working at Cinema Secrets, which is still around. My favorite brush cleaner still. Yes. And Maurice kind of took me under his wing, and that was great because he allowed me, when I got little gigs, to go out and do them. And I couldn't have survived otherwise because I wasn't working enough. And I met more and more people in the industry, and then started working at Roger Corman, doing a different feature, well, slasher feature every 3 weeks, it seemed like, making no money. But it was an amazing experience. And I worked there a couple of years, maybe, I think, if that. And then, you know, the producers would go and they would do a little bit bigger movie, and, you know, we'd go with them. And that's how I got Sleeping Dogs, Where Sleeping Dogs Lie. And I was actually the department head on that. And they said that they had hired Sharon, and, you know, don't worry if she doesn't like you, you're still our department head, and, you know, stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay, who is this person coming in? And she walked in the door, and I think she said, oh, thank God you're young. And I was young. I was 19, almost 20, I think, at the time. And we just hit it off.
Oh,
yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you worked together on that film. And who directed that?
It was Charles Finch. I can't believe I remember.
And then after that came Casino, right?
No, after
No.
that, she went and did Basic Instinct, and I got in the union during that time, and so after Basic Instinct, I had her phone number still, and I was like, well, it's worth a shot, and I left her a message. And I just said, you know, I don't know if you remember me, but I'm in the union now, and I would love to work with you. And she called me back and was like, I would love to work with you. And that was it. I didn't really think much of it. And the next time I got a page. This is how long ago it is. Nice. I'll never forget. I was at IKEA, and I got a page from Howard Koch at Paramount, and asking me if my availability, if I could come in and test with Sharon for Sliver. And I was like, I don't know, let me check my availability. Yes, I can!
You ran out of IKEA and didn't even get the ice cream.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love stories like that.
Yeah.
And it's too bad that you can't save that page now, you know.
I know.
You can't take a screenshot of it. Okay, so you did Sliver together.
I did Sliver, and I was they made me department head. I was 20 years
Fantastic.
old.
Oh my gosh.
You know, my first big union feature, and it was, you know, $40 million, and I was a baby.
Did you understand at that point the pressure? Did you realize like what was at stake, that this large budget movie? I mean, I feel like maybe you might have been like not knowing what you know now would have been a blessing.
Yes. Oh, yes. I think that youth and innocence, and not, you know, just all of that, just being determined and just too silly to be scared, I guess. You know, I was very fortunate to have Paul LeBlanc on my side, who was Sharon's hairdresser, the late, great Paul LeBlanc. He was such a talent and so amazing. And he said to me, one of my first days working with him, he said, Trish, it's about the work. It's always about the work. That's the most important thing. Ugh, I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
But those words were huge to me. I've thought about that my whole career, because it's not about the parties or the accolades or whatever. You don't get any of that unless you put the work in. And so I just focused on work, and I just kept going.
And you were rewarded. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I later found out from Sharon, I think this was like 5 or 6 movies later, that she asked them to make me department head because she was worried that I was so young that if I didn't have a little power, I would get lost. And
God, what a smart lady.
Yeah, but you know, 5 years later, I was like, "You did what?" Because I was like, I was so scared and nervous that whole time, and I'm like, I can't believe you did that, but it worked. I mean, thank God she believed in me that way, Yeah, she was like, this is her, about me was my sink or swim moment, and what she had done is she and her best friend Mimi Craven had put out all of her pictures from all of her movies after Basic Instinct because she knew she needed a makeup artist for Sliver. And she put pictures out of all of her movies and figured out, which one do I look the best in? And she and her best friend Mimi was like, you look amazing in Where Sleeping Dogs Lie. And that's how she requested. And it just happened, my phone call was a coincidence in the whole thing. So, but I didn't know that for 5 years. I mean, she didn't tell me.
Right. Everything just aligned so beautifully. Meant to be, for sure. So then now we're at Sliver, and then the next one is...
we went straight on to Intersection.
Right.
And then we did Quick and the Dead. And then...
That's a fun one.
I think right after that, we did The Specialist. No, we must have done Casino first, and then The Specialist.
Okay, so we had quite a few between Sliver and Casino.
Mm-hmm.
And then when did you find out about, how did it come together that Casino would be beginning?
I think she had told me that there was this movie that she really wanted, and I remember her auditioning for it. Like pushing to get an audition. She really wanted that part, and it shows, I think, in the movie. Like her connection with Scorsese was amazing, and I mean, it was an incredible experience. I'm so glad she got it.
Yeah, I think we all are, right?
Yeah, so I think we were working when she told me about it, and then I remember we started it. God, it must have been right after the New Year, because I remember going to a Christmas party and telling somebody there that I was going to go do Casino, and they were like, "You're what?" And again, I'm like, all about the work. I was just like researching and, doing all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I am. And that was the first time I really started feeling like, oh, shit.
When it was reflected back in others.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because you sort of get into that tunnel where you're just like, just the next thing, and I'm with Sharon,
mm-hmm.
and then you're like, oh, and Marty.
Right.
Oh, okay. So, but I remember you originally telling me that it was going to be like a 6-week shoot, and
Yes.
Tell me more about that.
We were only supposed to be there for 6 weeks. Her part wasn't that big in the beginning, and we got there, and it just kept. Her part kept getting bigger. She got written into more scenes. They obviously liked what they were seeing, and we ended up being there 6 months. It was nuts to be in Vegas for 6 months. I don't wish that. Sorry, everyone who lives in Vegas, but that's a lot. Originally we were staying in the casinos when we first got there, and having to walk through the casino and the ding 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 ding. After shooting in one all night, and I finally got my own apartment and off of the Strip, and that was much better. And then I really fell in love with Vegas.
I didn't think about that part. Yeah, because I think the 6 months in Vegas, but when you're working, I've been places where you don't go outside because everything is on that premise, and you never go outside. So that must have been what it was like for you guys.
Yeah, when we could only shoot in the casinos at night, so
oh my God.
We would start shooting around 10:30 at night, and we would shoot all night, and go home at 8 in the morning. So it was a very debaucherous way of life. It was crazy.
Was it a serious vibe, or were people partying? Or?
Oh no, I remember the grips, like going to the production manager, asking for their per diem, begging for their per diem for the following week because they had gambled it all away and stuff like that. You know, I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Now, how did you research Ginger, and how did that come together and come to fruition?
Well, it's funny because she's based on a real person, so we did have photos of the real Ginger.
Of course, I didn't think.
Yeah,
about that.
and I found the book I had of their actual wedding, and we didn't have a lot of these photos up, but I'll send these to you in the thing. But we had the progression of, you know, this is the real Ace.
Oh my god!
We had the progression of how Ginger actually aged. So that was kind of a loose, you know, guide for us, which was really great. And her daughter and all of that. And then each period we really dissected how, and the genius costume designer, Rita Ryak, we just followed. I mean, following her lead was just like, she's amazing. So
is that always how it works? Do you see the costumes first, and that influences your makeup?
That is a big influence. Yes, I mean, Sharon loves makeup. She loved makeup. She loved hair. She loved to wear to really just get into the character. So, I mean, really, to me, like Sharon was kind of like how Lady Gaga is now. Like she loved becoming that character. You know, she loved having makeup help transform her into that person, and that's what I love. I love helping create a story, and if I can have a small part in helping an actor create that, that's just you know, that's everything to me.
You seemed completely in sync with what you were creating, and I think that the reason Ginger works so well, and you can never get mad at her, and you never hold her responsible, really, is because you see how much she loves her. You know, like Sharon loves Ginger. You know, and Ginger didn't love herself. You know, which is sad.
Yeah, yeah. It was. You know, there were difficult times. I mean, it was a hard road to carry her down, because Ginger was, you know, sad and it's devastating at times. But it was it was amazing to put that onto screen.
How did Marty feel, and how was he to work with?
He was great. He was great. He's such a genius, and he really hires such amazingly talented people, from the actors to the crew to, I mean, everybody, and he really sees the talent and just gives you the room to fly. So he's very encouraging to let you do that deep dive into whatever it is that you feel is necessary for that to create that, you know, character, which is so wonderful. I mean, and Sharon thrives in that too. So we're all in.
Was there ever a time that you presented a look and he was like, let's work on it a little bit, or
no?
He's like, you guys got it.
Thank God. I mean, thank God. Yeah, I don't know how I would have reacted, but no, he was great. He was, you know, he's very eccentric. You have to be invited to watch his monitor, and he had I remember, sorry Marty if I'm throwing you know, out your secrets, but I remember going on the set and behind, on the monitors, he had those mirrors like truck drivers have that go all the way across, so he could see who was behind him watching the monitor. And I was like, God, why does he have that? And then I realized, like, he has to see who's watching, and he's like, okay, yeah, you can watch. you know.
So how did you watch your work?
I watched
How were
it
you?
with him, but at first it was,
Okay.
you know, I was like, oh, you know, and then somebody told me after I just did it, and they were like, yo, you have to be invited, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess I passed that test.
Thank God.
I mean, I would never abuse it, but you know,
Right,
yeah.
right.
And I became very good friends with Marty's daughter, Kathy, on that job, and he kind of had to approve of that as well. And
Interesting.
it was kind of like the old Italian. Like I was like, oh, okay, I got approved.
Well, you know, once you're approved, that's it. You're set. um, the first look, that's the most iconic to me is that high ponytail. Do you want to talk a little bit about
walking through the casino that long?
It's just everything we all want to be as women, and nailed it. You nailed it. I have two questions one is about the creation of it, and the second is when you saw it on the big screen in the context of the film the first time.
Well, I always was a huge fan of Marty's long, just continuous takes. I just loved that. And for some reason, I don't know why, but that night I didn't realize that that's what was going to be happening with her. And so when I watched it unfold in front of me when she did, you know, the long continuous take, I was like, oh, this is one of those moments. Oh my God, this is going to be so good. And when she threw the chips up and then it was in slow motion when I saw it on screen, I just was like, this is just crazy good.
You're like, that's going on my reel, and that's just the whole thing. I'm just going to leave that there and nothing else. That was incredible. And then I think I counted 27 looks. Am I right? That you had to
You know
do?
what? I don't know. I haven't. I don't know. I'll have to count.
I watched it the other night and broke down how, you know, the minutes that I saw each look in it, and I had 27 bullet points, and I was just like, how?
It was a lot.
Did you? How did you know when she was going to start changing her look? Did you go by era or what she was going through as a character? Was it the era of like the decade, or more what she was like? She might line the inside now because she's, you know, getting a little bit rougher.
Yeah, no, I mean it was both. It was everything. It was her age in the movie. It was the era. It was you know, if she was into drugs or not. Then, you know, like after, you know, we just followed her downfall. Really, I remember the moment that was the big moment of Ginger's change was the fight between her and De Niro when he drags her down the hallway with all the jewelry.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite looks, and they did that. They did that scene over and over again, and it was amazing to watch those two together doing that intensity, and it was a privilege to be there every day.
This day, I think you had mentioned it before.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a Bob Mackie dress, and I think it weighed at least 30 pounds.
Tell me about that.
And that particular day, we shot 24 hours.
Oh my God.
It was hell, and I think.
So this is the wedding. This is the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Sharon cracked her tooth in the middle of the day, and we had to have a dentist come on set and fix it so we could continue shooting. It was crazy. It was crazy. I mean,
Midway through the shoot?
Yeah. Well, on set, because I think we only had that location for that day.
Yeah.
And we had to get it. And so she's like, okay, bring the dentist here.
Did she ever, was she game every day like this? Like, was the momentum just always, or was she sometimes, like, did it rise and fall, or were you on the train?
It definitely rose. It had its ebbs and flows. And it definitely, I mean, I don't know any actor that the intensity of this character, it got to you. It got to us, you know. I mean, we definitely all rode the Ginger train. And you know, there were really rough days and there were good days, you know, but when she got more towards the end and as Ginger got more drugged out, you know, she had to kind of stay in that space for a while, and that was tough. That was a tough period.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. And the death scene was hard. The death scene was really hard.
Yeah.
It was the last day of shooting that we shot the death scene, her shooting. I think they had some more stuff to do. And we had already been there 6 months and it was in the works, and we had aged her up, and I had bruised her up and drawn in her riz, and like, the whole, all of it was just paint and powder, and we had completed the whole thing. And then Marty came in the trailer to talk to her and said, I just don't know if today's going to work. I just don't think it's going to, I can shoot it right now. And I went, Marty, oh, and I pulled him out of the trailer and I'm like, you kill her today. You kill her right now. That's it. We're ready. And he's like, oh, okay.
And how old were you?
I can't do this anymore.
And you were 24?
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah.
You kill her today.
Kill her today. We can't take it anymore.
Oh my God. And then but it obviously wasn't in chronological order. Did
No.
You condensed Ginger's scenes probably together. So did you have a concept of like how this would all turn out? Like, did you know she was doing such amazing work? Like, was it the best work you'd ever seen her done?
Yes.
Yeah.
At that point, yeah. That I had been with her. I mean, besides Basic, the first Basic, I think, yeah, I definitely it was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, and to be with the caliber of all those people with Pesci, her scenes with Pesci when she's aging too, she was incredible in those. And I mean, she took a deep dive into Ginger, and it shows on camera. I mean, it was amazing. The combination with the actors and with Scorsese, and it was a pleasure. It was a tough pleasure. How about that?
Have you ever had something as challenging since, or?
Yes, what I'm on right now.
Was what you're on right now interrupted by COVID, and now you have
Yes.
to? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. That's
Yeah.
tough. Yeah. What were some of your other favorites in Casino?
Sorry, the other favorite looks?
Yeah.
Let's see. I really loved the purple. Where is it? Let's see. Oh, I loved the first look when she was when she's getting off the airplane.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
The ponies are just.
Yeah,
sublime.
and I love that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That was really beautiful.
Oh my God.
And then this one was one of my favorites, when he gives her the jewelry in the restaurant and she asks for the money for the tip.
For the powder room.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I know. I remember always thinking, like, is that a thing? Like, can I do that? Like, $50? Like, what's the $50 for?
This was that one we were talking about.
Yes. Oh my
So
God.
beautiful. But it's funny, at the time, I didn't really like this Ginger as much.
Right.
But now I
wanted to talk to you about that. What like because oh my God. I mean, that reminds me of when she was Gloria. Did you work on Gloria?
No, I didn't.
That reminds me of Gloria Bound.
This was after.
Oh my God. Is that Scavullo?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, we shot with Scavullo a couple of times, and that was.
How was that?
I'm sorry. This is either Scavullo or Scribnesky. I think it was Scribnesky.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think it was Scribnesky. Yeah. Scavullo shot Cosmo. We shot Cosmo with her.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
mm-hmm.
It was amazing.
And then did you go to were you at the Oscars or tell me about the Oscars?
I didn't go to the Oscars with her, but I did her for the Oscars. Sharon was lovely. She was so incredibly loyal, and I did everything with her. I did every magazine cover, every Cannes, every Amphor event, everything for the time I was with her. It was amazing. It was a lifetime of experience in 10-year, 15-year span. It was amazing.
She seems to be a very complicated person who really, really, really gives back. And, I think she's as real as they come, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she is. She's very generous.
Any other favorite memories from Casino that you wanted to talk about? Let me see. I wanted to ask you one more thing. I wanted to ask you what it was like working with the other makeup artists, because it seemed pretty big in number.
Mm-hmm.
And can you just tell a little bit about what that's like? Like, because when you bring her to set, I mean, do you guys work together before or on each individual? I mean, are you all...
On Casino, it was kind of, it was a little bit different because normally I think if I was going in as a personal, it would be a little more collaborative.
Yeah.
Where this one, I think they knew, Joanne, the department head, she knew that her character was, she was pretty much the girl. I mean, she was, the girl in the movie. And so what we did set kind of what she was going to do. So she and I collaborated that way, but she was very much like, you're setting the look and I'm going to follow, which is usually the other way around. So
yeah,
she was lovely in that way. And it was a lovely experience in that respect. And Joe had his own makeup artist and De Niro had his own makeup artist, Alona Herman, and they'd all been together for a long time. So it was a big base camp, but nothing, I mean, that's normal now.
Yeah. And then when you had the short wig that we were talking about, that we were looking at earlier, was that true to what the real person had, the real Ginger? How did that look come about? Because I felt the same thing. I related to what you said about how you weren't crazy about that look. And then when I saw it, I appreciated it so much more the other day when I was watching.
So funny. This is one of the pictures that we had, and Sharon crossed out and put her as an angel. We didn't have tons of pictures of her up. But this is the real her.
Wow, look at those bones.
Yeah.
Those cheeks.
This is another one.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so we loosely.
So her wig looked better than those. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you can see it here too in her eyes. She's aging, but still being
and sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It was a sad. But yeah. So we had seen those and we loosely based it on it. But normally in a trailer we would have all of those up, and we didn't. We wanted to, I guess, loosely base it on her. Yeah.
What else can I ask you? I want to ask you 100,000 things about other things.
I did have to think of something. What was I going to say?
Let me see. I wrote down. We talked about your relationship with Sharon and the challenges. Oh, the victorious moments. What were some moments? Well, we did talk about that long shot of her entering the casino and then throwing the chips in the air. And that's like one of those like champion, moments. Were there any more like that where you're like, oh my God, we nailed it?
Like I said, the one where he dragged her down the hallway after the jewelry, I really, really loved that one. And then the other one in the casino, hotel room. It might have been with Joe. I can't remember. Or no, maybe it was a trick. And she's in the mirror, and it's the double gingers. I loved that look as well.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of great moments on that. I mean, I really appreciate that they gave me the opportunity to really just go for it and change her completely. I mean, I had a manicurist every day, and her nails changed, and sometimes the manicurist had to stay all day because we would change scenes in the middle of the day, and they allowed us to do it, and it really shows, I think, on screen.
Oh my gosh, those details are undeniable. And you see, I mean, have you ever seen on YouTube, there's like people breaking down the looks to the fingernail,
No,
and
I haven't really.
you do a when you go down the rabbit hole one day, it's just crazy, like it's like every single outfit in Casino, and she needs her Barbie.
Wow.
She needs a Barbie, I think. Ginger.
That would be great. It's funny because I didn't watch Casino actually for probably about 5 years after it came out.
You were probably just like,
it was kind of like it was a shell shock, like it was a lot. So it took me a minute to like step away and actually be able to watch it and critique it, and not go, oh, that was that day that we worked 24 hours, or that was that day that,
So was it outside that 24-hour day, that in the gold dress, in the Bob Mackie?
No, we were inside.
Oh, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. And what about it was so long? You can't go that long. That's not fair.
Right? I think it was just because we only had that location for that one day, and they were tearing down the casino that we were shooting in kind of around us.
Oh,
the
no.
Tangiers was that, I can't remember the name of the hotel, but maybe the Dune?
The one in the movie was the Tangier.
Yeah, but what the hotel really was,
mm-hmm.
I can't remember, but they were tearing it down right after we shot there.
And then that wasn't that looked like Palm Springs. His house looked like Palm Springs to me always, but
that
it was
Vegas.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe they cheated that. And the house was incredible.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then one of the things I did do for research, which was really great, is they arranged for me to go see a show and then go backstage with the dancers. And I got to just talk to them and see the makeup and see kind of how they did things. And that was incredible. That was really cool.
That's a special art. I mean, that's different makeup than what anyone thinks it is, don't you think?
Yeah. It's kind of like, the only thing I can compare it to now is probably RuPaul's drag race. It's a lot.
Yeah. But it's even different. I don't know what it is that it almost looks like it's natural for them. It never even strikes me as too much,
No.
It is
so beautiful.
Very beautiful. Very beautiful. I wanted to also ask you, I guess, let's talk about what you're doing now. And we can talk about that, so we can have that at the end of everything too. And so Casino obviously kicked off an amazing ride, and you did many movies, and you're still working so much today. And what are you working on right now?
Right now I'm doing a show called WandaVision for Marvel. So.
Oh, Wanda the witch.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Yes. Yeah. And I can't say too much more, but
of course not. You can't with Marvel, but we'll be very excited to see. It was so great talking to Trisha on the show, and I just can't thank her enough for taking the chance and being my very first guest and sort of helping me kick off this whole thing in style. I'm so appreciative and had such a great time with her. I hope you enjoyed listening. Next week, I'm going to be talking to Emmy Award-nominated celebrity hairstylist Barry Lee Moe, and we're going to be talking about his work on the groundbreaking series Pose. So please tune in. Look Behind the Look is a Vinyl Foote production, written by me, your host, Tiffany Bartok, produced by Jace Bartok, and produced and edited by Kelly Riley. If you're interested in learning more, find our video version on the YouTube channel Look Behind the Look podcast. There you can see rare photos and clips from our guests. And please follow us on Twitter at LookBehindPod and Instagram at LookBehindTheLook. If you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe. And tell your friends and spread the word. You can subscribe to us on iTunes or any podcatcher of your choice. Thanks for listening to Look Behind the Look.